You know, it's all well and good for me to share all the tips and tricks I have learned from the Curly Girl method, but wouldn't it be nice to get some more perspectives? Hey there guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Curly Girl interview. I am so excited for this series here on this channel, and I am so grateful to all the beautiful wavy curly girls who have agreed to come share their knowledge with us, share their perspectives, what works for them, what doesn't. This is awesome and amazing. If you are enjoying this series, make sure you're subscribed and have that notification bell clicked so that you don't miss any more videos with any more Curly Girl interviews. Also, if you love Marisa curls as much as I do, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it. Today, we are talking to Miss Marisa. Marisa Curls over on Instagram, here on YouTube. She is all over the internet and she is an absolute wealth of knowledge. I find her healthy hair journey particularly interesting because she started embracing her waves and curls while also wearing blonde highlights, which can present its own set of challenges. And then she made the choice to start growing out her hair and wearing her hair in a virgin, natural color, no color added state. How do you say that? No highlights, virgin hair? Anyway, she is so lovely, so knowledgeable, and so helpful. Let's jump right into this interview with Miss Marisa Curls.
Hey there, Marissa. How are
Hi,
you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for being willing to come on and do this Curly Girl interview.
Oh, I'm honored. I'm absolutely delighted to be here. Thank you for asking me.
So first things first, where can people find you?
Well, everywhere. I'm, I'm here on YouTube and I am on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. So those are like my three main places. And I am Marisa's Curls on all of them. So should be easy to find me.
And guys, pause the video, open the description. All of Marissa's information will be in the description. You won't regret following her. Go do it. Go do it now. So tell us a little bit more about your hair type.
Okay, well, my hair is virgin hair. I grew out my bleached kind of blonde that I'd had for my whole life. So it's virgin hair now. The jury's still out on my porosity. I kind of feel like it's medium to high, but I could be wrong. I keep meaning to do a hair analysis and find out for sure. But my hair is fine and it likes a lot of protein. And it's a mixture of curl patterns. I've got some bare waves in the back and I've got some ringlets and a whole
Serious ringlets. Yeah,
I've got a lot of different curl patterns going on.
that is awesome. So virgin, medium to fine. Is that what you said?
It's fine, definitely kind of medium to high porosity, I think.
That's what I was hearing. Yeah, porosity. How important do you think porosity is? Because it gets so much focus. Like everybody gets really interested in porosity.
Well, I mean, obviously it's good to know, but I don't think it's quite the be all and end all that a lot of people feel that it is personally. So like I say, I am not 100% sure on mine. I tend to think it's medium to high, but without actually having somebody look under a microscope at your hair, it's hard to actually know for sure because there's a lot of other factors that come into play when you're trying to figure it out. So, and I've gotten this far, nearly 5 years into my curly journey, and I'm still not 100% sure. So, yeah, I think you can get along just fine without knowing for sure. I think if you can see what your hair does, what your hair likes, you can put together a good routine without necessarily having to be 100% sure on your porosity, I think.
It's very clear that you know exactly how to best take care of your hair. And if you, Marisa, are still unsure about her porosity, then that I tend to agree with you. I feel like it's something that I hyper focused on personally way too much, and it wound up being a stumbling block rather than a stepping stool
Yeah.
to better hair. I actually believed for the longest time I had high porosity hair because my hair soaked up water and products so quickly. Because you're told that if your hair gets wet quickly, it's higher porosity. Well, then I had a hair analysis done and they told me I had low, 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 low porosity hair. And I went, what? So anyway, I think that's really interesting. What made you decide to start wearing your curls in the first place?
Well, I had curly hair as a toddler, very much like my Elodie, who's 3. She's got curly hair. My hair is very much like hers is now. And so my mum has curly hair, and so she like would finger coil my hair at the age of like 4 and 5. It's crazy, and I was
Wow.
a big girl, and I just sat there and let her do it. Elodie wouldn't let me do it.
Yeah.
But then as I got older, my hair was very, very long, all one length, like away down my back. And I think just the weight of it seemed to pull the curls out. And my mum would braid it for school and brush it. And we just thought that I didn't have curly hair anymore. Like it was
Yeah.
just frizzy. It was a bit like Princess Diaries, the before.
Ah, yeah.
It was just that Hermione Granger sort of long
Goofy.
frizz. Yeah, exactly. Because it was being brushed and because it wasn't being treated like curly hair. But always my baby hairs were curly, always. So my mum used to call them kiss curls. It was when my hair would get damp, I would have these
Cute.
ringlets around my face. But the rest of my hair didn't appear to be curly. So then when I was in my teens, I had my hair cut and I had some layers in it. And I just one day thought, I wonder what would happen if I pinched my mum's mousse and diffuser. And so it was about like 16, 17, and I tried it and I had some waves and some curls, and I was quite delighted. So from that point onwards, I wore it curly sort of just most of the time, and I liked it, but it was very much a kind of a mishmash of more of a mishmash of curl patterns than it is now. I did have ringlets underneath, but the top layers were kind of just a little bit of a wave. And I always joke that I had like 2 different types of hair, like curly hair underneath and wavy hair on top. But then I just wore it like that, kind of on and off, straightened in between. I always had my hair colored blonde. And then after my second child was born, my hair was just a disaster. Like in my first pregnancy, my hair was amazing. In my second pregnancy, my hair was just
Interesting.
so bad, so bad. And it lost its curl and it went straight at the roots, zigzaggy in the middle and straight at the ends.
That's
Honestly,
wild.
so bad. The things hormones do to your hair, right?
Yes.
You know all about
Huge.
that.
Yes.
So I just decided to Google because I thought, I wonder if anyone on the internet knows anything about curly hair. Like little did I realize there's this entire corner of the internet dedicated to curly hair. So I heard about the curly girl method and then started looking into it, and then was kind of doing bits of it, started doing a bit of co-washing, but didn't really understand what I was using or the ingredients or anything. And then I stumbled across some of the Facebook groups and then realized like, oh, hang on a minute, I need to understand ingredients, and then went from there. And yeah, I learned a lot in these Facebook groups.
What was the baseline for learning ingredients for you? What did you start learning about ingredients and ingredients labels and such?
So there were on the Facebook group that I was in when I started, they had some amazing albums and people had created lists of ingredients. And so literally I would
Wow.
screenshot that ingredient and have it like on my phone, and I would be in the shop and I'd be like comparing the
Yeah.
ingredients label of the bottle against this list on my phone. And then the more I did that and the more I did that, after a while, I didn't need to check the list
You got
anymore.
to
Like
where
I
you
knew.
remembered it
So
each
even
by
now, like I
yourself.
can pick up a bottle and just go, oh yeah, that's fine, or oh no, So just through doing it over and over, you kind of start to recognize. So I was looking for I was avoiding silicons, I was avoiding sulfates, drying alcohols and waxes. So I would say I'm not super strict on all of those things as I was. I still don't use sulfates and silicons, but I wouldn't be scared of a little bit of drying alcohol
Yeah.
in a red light product, or if I use something with a wax, I would just understand that I would need to clarify. But back at the
Eventually, yeah.
beginning, yeah, at the beginning, I was just super cannot use anything with these ingredients.
So would you say that maybe that was kind of an obstacle that you had to figure out, like which rules to break and which ones not to break?
Well, it's funny, I didn't start breaking any rules until way, way, way on in my curly journey. So probably only, I'm trying to think how long it was that I went without using any shampoo at all for years. Like, so I was an exclusive
Wow.
co-washer to start with, exclusively co-washed,
So
and it worked.
true curly girl method.
To start with, I was, yeah.
Wow.
So, and when my hair was damaged from having been, dyed blonde, a high
You
lift blonde,
had very, very highlighted, pretty blonde hair. Yeah.
it was very light, but my hair really didn't cope with it very well. Like my curl pattern didn't cope with it, and it was
It
very
took you a long
fragile.
time to recover after each time you highlighted it.
So even once I was on my curly journey and my hair was looking good, if I would have my highlights done, it wasn't even bleach. It was a gentle high lift blonde.
How
Um,
interesting.
and it would just wreck my curl pattern. And if I would like tip my hair over and shake it, I would see little pieces of hair fall. And it used to smell for a while after I had it done like a wet dog, sort of horrible
Ooh,
smell when it would get
yeah.
wet, like a burny chemical. And I would just cry after each time, like, what have I done? And it didn't even occur to me, like, hang on, you don't have to have
Yeah.
your hair colored. I was just so into that mindset of, but I'm a blonde, like I need to be blonde. So
Yeah.
yeah, it just it wasn't good. But while my hair was damaged like that, co-washing and putting a lot of like moisturizing products did work for my hair. But then when I started growing out my hair, I realized actually my hair was too easily over conditioned. My natural hair was more easily too soft and too over conditioned, and I actually needed something a bit stronger to kind of
Get the
keep it,
gunk off.
yeah, and keep it light and bouncy. And yeah, so it was a
That's
big change. That was one of the biggest obstacles for me, was adjusting my hair care to how my hair was after I grew out the hair dye. And you would almost think it would be easier dealing with virgin hair than with like damaged colored hair, but in some ways it was more tricky because I had to get my
yeah.
head around a whole different hair type. And my hair suddenly loved protein,
You
like
had to relearn your hair all over again.
yeah, and I expected it to, I don't know, be more low porosity, and actually it seemed to behave like higher porosity hair after growing out the damage, which was just really, really strange.
Is it because it started taking the protein like crazy?
Yeah, I think so. My hair is fine, and fine hair tends to like more protein, needs that like structure.
Mm.
Um, and it just doesn't need a whole ton of conditioning. Like obviously I use conditioner, but I don't deep condition my hair. Pretty much
So,
never.
so what about your hair is now behaving more high porosity than it was?
I think the fact that it wants all that protein, like that's one
Okay.
of the things, that's one of the things that makes me think that it does. And it does soak up water quickly, and it can soak up a fair amount of product. But then because it's
Yeah.
fine, that can kind of skew a little bit, because it also can be easily weighed down
Way
because
down.
it's fine.
Mhm.
So it's that's why it's tricky.
Yeah. That is so interesting.
Yeah.
That's
It shocked
amazing.
me, the difference. Yeah, it didn't change in the ways I was expecting it to change growing out the hair dye. It was a whole different ball game, but not the one I was expecting.
What made you decide to go through that arduous, long process?
Growing out process.
Yeah.
It was just the fact that, like we said, every time that I would go and get my highlights done, my hair just, it was like it reset all that progress that I had worked so hard on. And I just felt like I got to the point where my curls and how my curls looked and the health of my hair became more important than like I was always trying to get ash blonde hair. Like I was just
Yeah.
desperately striving for it for years, and my hair always wanted to be like a warm blonde. And even though I'd be throwing like, well, my hairdresser would be putting like really ash colors on it and ash toners, it would
It
always
would
end up
pull.
warm. And yeah,
Yeah.
it just always did. And in the end, just I thought, oh, do you know what? I could actually just grow it out. But I was scared because I've got quite look my silver.
That is beautiful. I
I
love
love it
that.
now. I love it now, and I love my natural hair color. And it still surprises me to think, I've
Yes.
had my hair for like 20 years, pretty much 20 years, not far off. And then I've grown it out, and then realized like, oh, I like my natural hair color so much better than any of those dye jobs.
I did the same thing. I thought that my natural hair color was ugly, like dishwater blonde.
Me too.
And so I would highlight my hair. I didn't do 20. I did it for 15 years and started doing this process and decided I did it because I'm competitive and I wanted to see how healthy I could get my hair. So I was like, no bleach for me. And I grew it out and then cut off all the bleach damage, like a lot of hair all at once because I'm impatient. And I thought, wait, my hair color's
It's beautiful. You've got like a dark golden color. It's lovely.
yes. I always thought it was, thank you. You're so kind. I always thought it was like ash colored, and it's way warmer naturally than I ever thought it would be. And I was like,
Warmer than mine, I would say. Yeah.
I really like yours. Yours is very, very pretty.
It's funny what you say about always thinking it was like just a non-color. And I remember using those specific words, telling people, oh no, my natural color, it's just a non-color. I hate it when people describe people's hair as mousy brown or like mousy blonde, because I feel like that covers like my color and your color. But there's so much more to it than that.
There's so much depth. Yeah.
I totally agree.
That is so cool. And I know that there are people out there that are just not ready to wear their natural hair color. And I understand that.
Yeah.
I do want to like encourage and challenge people to just try it. Take 1 year of your life, grow your hair out.
Yeah.
You can do anything for 1 year. If you hate it, go back.
That's exactly what I always say. I say, just say, right, I'm going to do this for a year. And there's no problem in growing your hair out, hating it, and then dyeing it again. At least you know. But if you don't try, you'll never know. And you might have, like you and like me, you might have hair color under there that actually you decide that you love. And I love how free it is, literally in 2 ways. It's free money, and it's also freeing to not have to do your roots all the time.
Frees up your time because you're not sitting in a chair, and it frees up your cash so that you can try out more fun wavy curly hair products.
Yeah, exactly.
So what does it look like when you travel with your curly hair? Because I follow you on Instagram. I'm such a stalker. I know y'all go on fun family trips. How do you travel with your curly hair?
We haven't done it. I wouldn't say I'm like a huge traveler. Like I haven't been abroad, but no, for many years. But the plan is always wash my hair like the day before I'm going to go somewhere, and use products that are like a good hard hold gel, something that hopefully will last as long as possible. So that's always the plan, and 9 times out of 10 it doesn't work. Because always when you've got somewhere to be, your hair decides, no, I'm not gonna behave. But then, I mean, I probably don't pack that light when it comes to my hair products. I would take a whole routine's worth. I would take a shampoo and a conditioner and, a cream in a gel or a foam in a gel. And I usually would take my Dyson because it's nice and small and light.
Yes.
And the diffuser. So I probably don't pack that light, but I wouldn't take like multiples of everything. I would probably just take a lineup. Like when we went for a week in Edinburgh in October, and so I took the Giovanni LA hold gel, which I love. It's a really strong hold gel, and I was glad I did because my hair got rained on and ruined the first
It's
half of the
glycerin
week.
free, so it travels well. It works in several climates.
It's so good. And so I washed my hair, used that, and then it lasted the rest of the week. So yeah, that's yeah. I probably should try and pack a bit lighter.
And you sleep with your hair in a buff.
Yes.
Do you take like a hair towel with you, a special hair towel when you travel?
Yeah, usually my perfect hair care towel. That's my favorite. It's your favorite as well, isn't it?
It is. It is. What color do you have again?
Black.
I like the black one. It's
I just love it. It's just such a good towel. The other one I do like is I've got a little turban and it's made of modal fabric.
oh,
And that's by a little small business. She's on Etsy called Modistra Sews, and that is amazing too. So those are like my two favorite towels. So yeah, one of those will come with me for sure. And yes, my buff will come with me. And usually I would also fold up one of my silk pillowcases and take that as well because I just don't like sleeping on a cotton pillowcase anymore.
it it makes my skin feel
Yeah.
itchy and uncomfortable. And I laugh
Why?
at myself because as a kid, as a younger adult, I was very tomboy. And so I was like, I can
And now
pack
you can't
light.
sleep with your silk pillowcase.
I have my silk pillowcase and my special towel and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. What is the best piece of advice you would give to somebody who is either just starting out or has really hit a wall and is frustrated and is ready to throw in the microfiber towel?
Well, I think for somebody who's just starting out, it's the piece of advice that nobody wants to hear, but I think it is the most important. And that is that the thing you need the most of, the things you need the most of is time, patience, trial and error, and determination. Because it's not it's easy once you get there, but that first like little while of just figuring out what your hair likes, figuring out what styling techniques work for you, what products work for you, whether your hair likes to be styled soaking wet or damp, whether you like to air dry or diffuse. There's so many ifs and buts, and unfortunately no one else can tell you. You just have to try it. It's just trial and error. And that can be frustrating. And I think it puts a lot of people off. They just want someone to say, here's a routine. That's what's going to work. And obviously it doesn't work like that. So you
Yeah.
just have to be determined and like stick through those rubbish hair days that are frustrating. Stick on a headband and put it up in a messy bun. But view it as a learning experience. And for people who are stuck, like who've been doing it a while and they've hit a wall, then I just always say take it back to basics, like pare your routine right back, get rid of all the frills, just wash your hair, condition your hair, and use one or two styling products. Just keep it super, super simple. And then you can have a bit more of an idea of what's happening with your hair, and not like just changing things up constantly, because then it's hard to pinpoint what's going wrong. So taking it right back to basics.
What would be, I love that. That is so helpful. What would be the bare bones routine that you would tell someone to try first, to start with, to start figuring out their hair, and or to go back to if they've hit the wall? What does that look like? Like line up, wash day, step by step.
Yeah. Well, I would say a sulfate-free shampoo for most people is going to be a good option. A good conditioner. You don't necessarily need to have a separate leave-in conditioner. If you're trying to keep it simple, shampoo, a conditioner, and maybe a cream and a gel, and just stick with those. And I usually do try and recommend that people start fairly inexpensively, like when they're first starting out, so that they're not going to go, people spend a lot of money on a brand and it doesn't work for them and they spend a lot of money on another. So picking brands like Naughty or like Umberto Giannini or other kind of more budget friendly brands, pick a few products from there and stick with those for a little while, and then you can branch out to the more expensive brands once you kind of know what you're doing a little bit more.
Yes,
And
that has
you
been a big discouragement to people. They put this huge money investment into these
Mhm.
products. And when your hair is in transition or when it's just throwing a fit,
Yeah.
Nothing makes it happy, not even the
No.
most expensive products. So then you're just like, I
Yeah.
spent
And all those expensive products, they might just not work for your hair. Like I've had that happen. I remember way back at the start of my routine, spending a lot of money on a popular curly hair brand, and my hair just hated the products, absolutely hated them. And no matter what I tried, I could never get them to work. And I had spent a big chunk of money on them. And it was like a gift, I think. My mom and dad had given me some money, and I bought this whole lineup, and then I just couldn't get them to work. And it was so,
that's
so
discouraging.
trying. It really
Yeah.
was. Yeah, yeah. So I think if you can start with something that's not going to break the bank, to begin with, then at least if it doesn't work great for you, you've not wasted a whole load of money. But also don't get rid of them straight away. Just put them on the shelf, because in a
Yes.
month's time, a year's time, they might work for you. That, like magic, sometimes that happens, doesn't it?
Yes. Like if you run into a situation where you can't return the products, or like maybe don't give them to a friend just yet. Let them go
Yeah.
to the back of your cabinet to recharge. They recharge and they get their superpowers back, and then you can use them on your hair.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
well, is there anything else that you care to share?
Oh, wow. Big question.
Yeah,
Well,
I opened that door wide for you right there.
um, I just think it's really important to just learn to love your hair and whatever state that is. And it's, we can all have our curl crushes and things, and that's totally fine and normal, but don't be trying to aim for someone else's hair. Aim for your hair at its healthiest and its best, and then you won't be disappointed. And if you're somebody with perhaps like a type 2 hair, and you're looking at pictures of people with type 4 hair, well, mine's not a 4, but I'm thinking, but that's what I'll get to, try and like kind of, you can have inspiration, but try and think, okay, well, I just want my hair to be the healthiest version of itself. And you can become your own curl crush.
I love that. Thank you. Well, guys, that is it. Thank you so much, Marisa.
Thank you for having me.
If you want to check out Marisa, make sure to check out the links in the description, and you won't be sorry. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so, so much for watching. Again, don't forget to check out the links in the description below. It will have all of Miss Marisa's information. Go give her a big internet hug from all of us, because we are so grateful that she came and shared and did this interview. I'm so grateful. All right, guys, as always, I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.